In this video, we're going to modify the dog picture viewing program that we made in the last video and turn it into a Pokemon quiz. So, the first thing that I'm going to point out is that there is this PokeAPI site, pokeapi.co, and you can see that there are different ways to query this repository of information about Pokemon. So you can see that, for example, if I click on this one, if I go to this URL here, v2/Pokemon/1, this tells you the first Pokemon, which is, looks like it is a Bulbasaur, okay? And then in here, in addition to the name, there are these sprites, so this actually shows you pictures of it. So we can like get front default and stuff like that. So we can actually get pictures of these Pokemon. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to go here to our command line. We're going to copy our dog panel program, and we'll copy it as Pokemon panel. Okay, and then when we go in here, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the end of the file, and I'm going to do a search and replace, where I'm going to change everything from dog to Pokemon. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to do. And now the only other thing that we need to change is we need to, this area down here where we set Pokemon image, this right now is pointing to the dog image API. So we need to swap this out with the new one. Okay, so this is going to be our Pokemon API that we're going to use. Okay, and just go ahead and grab this URL right here. Now, in here, the difference is that we have to append a number. Okay, so like if we do /1, then we get this Bulbasaur. /2 is the next one. I queried this earlier, and I saw that there's a total of 807 different numbers that are valid in here. Okay, so we're going to have to actually, instead of putting this 1 in here, we're going to have to actually generate a random number so it will generate a picture of a Pokemon. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to add in a public static random, and we'll call it gen. Okay, and we'll actually just initialize it right here. Okay, and this is what we're going to use to actually generate our random numbers. So this is in the java.util package, so we need to import that. All right, and then in here what we will do is we will say int a equals gen dot next int, and you can pass in a value here. Okay, so it's 807, and we want to do +1. Okay, actually I think there's 808 in there. And so this will, instead of giving us from 0 to 800 well, I guess there's 807. So instead of giving us 0 to 806, it'll give us 1 to 807. Okay, and so then what we'll do is we'll take this A and we'll just add it here onto the end of this URL, so that this will just generate, every time we click, it will generate a new picture for us. Okay, and now the other thing that we need to change is down here. Okay, so in this actual web service, okay, if we open this in the new tab, okay, we see that the picture, there's a lot of stuff right here, but if we go down to where the sprites are, okay, see how we're in the sprites section right here. Okay, and then there's this front default. Okay, so front default is what we're looking for. So all we need to do in here is just change this to front default colon, and then this, and that should be fine for the image. Okay, and that's probably all we need to change. Let's go ahead and try this out and see if it works. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. Java C. Oops. Pokemon panel.java, and oh, I have some, looks like I missed some. Am I in the right file here? Did I not save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Let's try that again. Okay. Thought we fixed all that. Okay. :1 commented as /dog/Pokemon/G. Okay, I guess I missed a few. Alright, so compile that now. Alright, that compiles. And if we run it, okay, we see that it's printing out these pictures of these Pokemon. Okay, so now let's do something else. Let's go ahead and actually display the name of the Pokemon. Okay, so we can actually pull that out of the API too. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and add in another variable here. Public static string Pokename. Okay. And I guess we can initially set it to just blank. And then down in here in our, okay, we can put another one of these, and instead of image, we're gonna do name, and we don't need to redeclare it because we've already got it declared up there. And in this case, what we're going to look for is we're going to look for a comma, and then quotes, and then name. Okay, and that should give us the name. Okay, so now that we have the name, what we can do is up here where we're displaying the image, we can go ahead and we can do a g dot draw string, and then we can put in a name, and then we need a location. So we'll just put it at maybe 10, 20. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that and see if that works. Okay, oh, name has private access. I thought oh, I didn't call it name, I called it Pokename. Okay, and Pokename. Okay. Okay, so that seems to solve the problem. And now when we run this, okay, see how it says up here? That's the name of this Pokemon. It's a Silcoon. Okay, and then we have a Trumbeak and a Octillery. Okay, this is a little bit hard to read. It's kind of small, so let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. We should be able to do that by, if we go up here, we can, before we draw the string, we can do a g.setFont, and then we can do a new font, and then I think we can go like Times Roman. We can do font.plain, and then the size. Well, let's make this like 36-point font or something like that, so it's nice and big. I'm pretty sure that's the syntax. We'll find out in a second. Maybe we'll move this down just a little bit to make sure that it all displays properly. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, compiled. And now when we run it, okay, so it's a little bit larger, it's a little bit easier to read. So we got Rotom, Amora. I guess these are all Pokemons. Okay, and so the final thing that we're going to do is let's go ahead and turn this into a quiz. Okay, so in other words, we'll display a picture, and then we'll ask the user to type in the name of the Pokemon, and then it'll tell them whether they're right or not. Okay, so we can use that. We can use things that we learned in IT 206 to do that. That shouldn't be too difficult. So what we can do is down in here, okay, after they click the image and it sets the new image and paints, okay, then we can say, we can do a string answer equals j option pane dot show input dialog. Which Pokemon is this? Okay, and then we can say if answer dot equals Pokename. So in other words, when we set the image, it extracts out the name of the Pokemon, and it stores it in that Pokename variable. So we're going to see if what they type in is equal to that. And if so, we can say J option pane dot show message dialog correct. Okay, and otherwise they got it wrong, so we can say just copy this and say incorrect. That Pokemon is a, and then we can do plus Pokename. Okay. And I think that should be all that we need to do. Let's test it out. Okay, so try and compile this. All right. Okay, now we didn't get the prompt yet, and I bet you if I click on this, now that I clicked it, it'll say, okay, which is it? Now, our thing is telling us, so obviously this should be pretty easy. I should be able to just type it in. And it says, yep, it's correct. Click on the picture again, okay, I'm going to get it wrong intentionally, so I'll say foo. And it says, nope, incorrect, that Pokemon is a Panpour. So now we can just remove this, and then we'll have a nice quiz. And then we need to fix it so that it prompts you for the first one. Okay, so let's go ahead and make those changes. So I think what we'll do is we will, let's go ahead and make we'll take all of this stuff here and put it into its own method. So we'll do a public void quiz user. Okay, and I guess maybe we better make it static just in case, okay? And we'll go ahead and take all of this out here and paste it into here like this. Let's go ahead and get this formatted nicely, all right? And so let's see, equals Pokename. All right, yep, so that's all that's gonna do. So we can, right here, we can say quiz user. All right, and then for the very first one, this is only going to happen after the mouse is clicked. So for the very first time they go through down here in main, we just need to go ahead and put in a quiz user right here. Okay, so that'll handle the first one. And then we need to remove, we'll just go ahead and comment this out right here. We're going to remove the answer so that they can't see. Okay, so if we compiled this, okay, and run it. All right, so it prompts us for the Pokemon. I have no idea what this one is. I'll say rabbit. It says incorrect. That Pokemon is a Eevee. Okay. And I can click on this. All right, which Pokemon is that? Again, I don't really know anything about Pokemon, so Squirtle. Pretty sure there's one called Squirtle. Incorrect. That Pokemon is a Phione. Okay, yeah, so at any rate, I'm never going to get any of these right because I don't actually know any of these. Ooh, that one looks kind of like a turtle. Maybe this one's a Squirtle. Oh, it's a Numel. Okay, well, at any rate, so you get the idea. So that is a way to make a simple Pokemon quiz game. We could also add in additional logic to keep track of how many you got right. We could improve the user interface a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. There's lots of other things to do, but you can see how very quickly we were able to just modify the dog program that we created and turn it into a Pokemon quiz program. So, yep, so that's what this video was all about. Go ahead and leave comments if you'd like to see any other features added to the Pokemon quiz game.